All right, let's open the case file. We're looking at a metaphysical conflict. A war for the very nature of existence itself. And it's all happening in a city built on absolute silence. So, let's dive right in. Our story starts in the Mausoleum of Stasis. You gotta picture this gothic, sprawling city, ruled by a mechanical god they call the Puppet King. And that throne of rusted iron? That's not just a chair. It's the whole symbol of his philosophy. A kingdom built on decay, on the slow, grinding halt of all life and change. What we're looking at here is the established order of this world. You could almost call it a thesis statement for absolute silence. And the whole thing is engineered by an architect who genuinely believes existence itself is a flaw. The king's entire philosophy, his entire operating system, is built on this one concept, the absolute not I. It basically says that your individual life, your sense of you, isn't a gift. No, it's a sickness, a fever that has to be cured. The whole point is to surgically remove what he calls the terror of being. And this is where you see the city's real purpose. The mausoleum isn't a place to live, it's a weapon. It's literally an ontological laboratory, an architecture of stagnation designed for one thing, to take living, breathing people and turn them into silent, comfortable objects. Look at this description. The art style itself tells the story here. All sharp, ink-heavy lines. He's a mechanical idol of decay. His very movements aren't signs of life. There's just the gears of entropy, enforcing a stagnant peace. So if there's one thing to get about the king's reign, it's this. The entire system is designed to prove that non-existence is peace. But into this perfect, crushing silence, something breaks. Let's talk about the antithesis, this chaotic force that wants to shatter the quiet, not with a scream, but with a laugh. And then, boom, a rupture. The jester attacks the city's clock tower, the very heart of its rigid, mechanical order. This isn't just a random act of violence. It's a rhythmic assault that sends a magnetic pulse of chaos through the mausoleum's perfect silence. This is what we mean by the shattered clockwork. He's breaking the state's control over time itself. But the king, sitting up on his rusted throne, he just dismisses it. He doesn't see a revolution. He doesn't even see a real threat. To him, this active laughter is just a desperate death rattle, another bit of chaotic energy that his system is built to absorb and, well, digest. So what this all boils down to is something bigger than just a fight for a city. It's an ontological war. It's a fundamental conflict between two completely opposite ways of being. You've got the king's self-negating void, the absolute not I, versus the jester's self-creating will, the absolute ich. Now, the king doesn't enforce the silent will all by himself. Oh no, he has spiritual enforcers, agents who operate in the ink-black shadows of his city. And they're called the Tarantula Preachers. Think of them as the agents of conformity. Their whole job is to scuttle around, find any tiny spark of individuality, and poison it before it can catch fire. They do this using a 4-step process they call the Great Flattening. It's their doctrine. They twist the very idea of equality to make sure no one ever dares to rise up. Ambition becomes a sin. Excellence becomes a crime against the collective. And this right here shows you exactly how they operate. They don't just suppress the jester's creativity and laughter, they corrupt it. They twist it into a frantic tarantula, a manic, resentful dance where everyone is trapped in a web of shared guilt. The king's control isn't just physical, it's psychological, and shame is his weapon of choice. So, we've met the players and we've seen their poisonous methods. Now the stakes of this whole ontological war are about to become terrifyingly clear. So what's the ultimate endgame for this architect of silence? Where does all this control, all this suppression, actually lead? It's a program, and it has a name that is somehow both poetic and absolutely horrifying. The Final Sunset Protocol. This is a terminal state where all motion, all change, all becoming is just permanently arrested. This is the ultimate expression of the Puppet King's entire philosophy. It's not about ruling over people, it's about eliminating the idea of people altogether. The goal is a silent, gray void where the fever of life is finally and completely cured. The king's goal isn't control, it's total erasure. The final analysis in our case file reveals that this isn't just a war for a city, it's for its soul. And this conflict goes way deeper than stone and steel. Yeah,
The whole conflict descends into this poisoned ancestral source, the very bloodline of this world. It's not just a philosophical debate anymore. It has become a timeless, historical struggle rooted in a shared, corrupted past.
But then we get this absolutely stunning moment of recognition. The king looks at all the decay, at this deep rot, and he sees himself. He gets it. He and the jester aren't just enemies, they are two sides of the same corrupted coin, lashed together by the history that made them both. But don't get it twisted. Even with that realization, the state's machinery is still active. The rusted idol, the king, is still a program, and it's still running its primary directive: find chaos and digest it into silence. Which leaves us with the one ultimate question hanging over this entire saga. In a war between frenzied, chaotic becoming and total, absolute non-existence, can the jester's defiant laughter really remake a world from ashes? Or will it just be another futile scream, ultimately swallowed by the silence?